Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you so much for logging on today. And to my replay listeners, to Heart Talk. This is Heart Talk on Periscope with Adelaide. I like to call it my Heart Scope. I am Adelaide Brown, your heart coach. Hey, Heather. Thanks so much for logging on. So for those of you hey, Yolanda, thanks for logging on. Thank you guys for coming on today. And last night we talked about heart talk and how we brought up surrender. And what was surrender? We talked about self-sabotage. Thank you, ladies. So, thanks, Yolanda. I'm rocking the fro today. I miss my fro. I have to go back to it before it gets too hot. So check me out. It's a little wild today. I'm toning it up. But you like my earrings? They were gifted to me by my beautiful, wonderful sister girl, Yolanda, and she's also my auntie. We talk about that later, but thank you guys again for logging on. I don't know, I can see y'all better like this. So we've been talking about sabotage. This week, we're talking about self-sabotage, what that looks like, what it is, why do we do it, some information about it, and more so, how do we overcome it? Because the truth of the matter is, God put each and every one of us on this earth for a particular purpose, and we have to fulfill that purpose. And it's not about doing it for other people. It's about doing it for God, but as we do it for Him, it brings joy to our life. It brings peace and happiness and abundance into our lives. But it's all about surrendering to the purpose, surrendering to the call. You know, when the television was made, it was made with a specific purpose. When you were made with a specific purpose. A television was not made for you to wash clothes in it. A television was not made for you to toast bread in it. A television was made for you to watch television and other things like that on it. So what about you? You may not have been made to do hair, or you may not have been made to, run a Fortune 500 company, or you may not have been made to be in so much distress and things like that you're in. You have to get to what you were made to do. You have to focus on that. Yeah, people can use televisions, like if a television is broke, some people may even use it as like a coffee table, older TVs, not the flat screens now, but people use things for different reasons, but that does not mean that it's operating at its optimum potential. And that's what we're talking about today. That's why we're talking about what is sabotage, and why are we talking about that is because you need to be living at your maximum potential. I talk about stepping out on faith and quitting my job, and that was a lot of surrender involved. But if I be honest with you, it was easier for me to step out on faith and quit my job than it was for me to truly forgive my mother. I'll be honest about that. I mean, as scary as it was to step out on faith, the hurt that I had from my younger years, the deep-seated pain, I had a lot of anger, I had a lot of frustration, a lot of anxiety, but more so a lot of unworthiness, a lot of low self-esteem. And, it was easier for me to walk out and quit a job before Christmas with no money saved than it was for me to truly release those chains that have been keeping me bound in the relationship with me and my mother. So when we're talking about self-sabotage, I'm a sister who has sabotaged herself for a while, and I am on a crusade to get rid of that. See, leaves are falling all over me. I'm sitting outside under my magnolia tree. I'm trying to enjoy a little more of nature, so you guys may hear the animals and things like that in the background, but just enjoying God and His many voices, the way that He speaks to us. But to get on track, today we're talking about what is self-sabotage, what that looks like, and why do we self-sabotage. That's more so what we're talking about today. Yesterday it was what is it. Today, why do we self-sabotage? So just to recap the definition that I found, and it says sabotage, to deliberately destroy, damage, or obstruct something, especially for political or military advantage. Now, that was the dictionary definition. I found it on a website called successorsabotage.com, and it says self-sabotage means to have personal interest in a goal or cause of your own and to undermine it with action or activity or lack thereof that lessens the outcome of the goal or cause. So you have a goal in mind. You have a life that you want to live. When you think about yourself, and there's certain things that you think about yourself. So why do you sabotage? What are you doing? Why are you doing these things? To stop you, like to hold you back, to prevent you from living the life that God has created you to live. So let's talk about some reasons why. After my Heart Talk call, we do a Monday night Heart Talk every Monday night at 9:15. It is awesome. We've been doing it since September 2014. It is definitely transformational, life-changing. It is something that you want to get connected with. It's a ladies' talk. It's a safe space. And last night we talked about sabotage. My mom mentioned after the call, like she wanted to comment, but she wasn't able to. So she was telling me some reasons. She was like, I was thinking about self-sabotage. Well, why do we do it? We do it, but why do we do it? And she brought up something that many people like to deny. She said, most of the self-sabotage we do is because of the things that we came to know to be true as children. When we were disappointed, when people hurt our feelings, when people may have turned their back on us or said mean and hurtful things, we took those things in to be true. And because we took those things in to be true, because we believed that we were lesser than what we really are, our potential was so much lower, we started to adapt that mindset in regards to ourselves. So, unforgiveness from your younger years. Yes, exactly. See, she was saying how, she realized a lot of the self-sabotage, a lot of the negative things that I had once blamed her for, that I have owned and said, I control my thoughts and feelings. I can't blame my mother for why I feel the way I feel. I choose to feel this way. Forget her addiction. Forget the sickness and the things that she had to go through. My mother is a survivor. She did what she had to do to get by. She found herself caught in a fault. I've found myself since caught in a fault. And if I want to hold that against her, I'm sabotaging my own life. If I can't let her off the hook, but I want to be forgiven for the things that I have done, I am sabotaging my own life. So these are the things that she was telling me she was thinking about last night when we were talking about what is sabotage. Unforgiveness from your younger years. Never learning how to process hurt and disappointment properly. Why do we sabotage? That's one of the reasons why. And one of them, unforgiveness from your younger years. Another one, never learn how to process hurt and disappointment and violation. Many people have been violated as a child, be it physically, be it emotionally, be it mentally. There are many men and women who were raped and molested and abused and neglected as children. And because we hear these stories often, many times people are told, get over it. You just need to move on. It doesn't work like that. That's not realistic. We have to work through a lot of things. Some people do have a gift of being able to let things go a little easier than others. But at the end of the day, if you were neglected as a child, most people are going to have some things that they got some issues dealing with that. See, for me, what happened was, my mom and I went through a really rough time. I'm telling you this because I want you to understand my story of self-sabotage and why I did it. I didn't even know I was doing it. Like for 20 years, I'm self-sabotaging. I don't even know, not even realizing, because it's a way of life. And it's not just a way of life for me. It's a way of life for millions of people. So when you look around and you don't see anyone doing anything different, you're thinking this is just the way things are. This is not the way God intended me to live. So, talking about self-sabotage. And for me, I would think things like, I can't do that, or that's too hard, or I have to be independent because I can't depend on anyone else, and I can't trust anyone else, because when I needed my mother, I felt like she wasn't there. When I needed my father, he was nowhere to be found. I thought I had friends. They turned their backs on me. I'm out in the street doing whatever I got to do. Here again, a lot of this stuff is going on internally, but because I believe this, my reality starts to mimic that. My reality starts to mirror my beliefs. What about you? We're talking about why do we self-sabotage. If you're here with me, let me know you're here. Tap the screen so I know that you're here. Is what I'm saying resonating with you? Have you thought about it when you think about self-sabotage, undermining your own dreams, undermining your own goals? Why do we do that? Awesome, Heather. I realize that. Exactly. In our own lives, we do this each and every day. Okay, so let me give you some other reasons. Another reason why we self-sabotage, because the opposite of sabotaging something, to go and attack and destroy something, the opposite of that would be to what? Here it is, surrender. Remember that word? We've been talking about that for about a month now. You have to surrender. What does it mean to surrender? To give up, to give out. What was another thing? One of the definitions of surrender, I wrote it down. To yield to the possession or power of another. To deliver up possession of, on demand or under duress. See, a lot of people, when they think about surrender, they feel like, you're making me do something that I don't want to do. You are forcing me to be something that I don't want to be. No, I'm talking about surrender where you're surrendering to being who you were created to be. See, a lot of us are hell-bent on getting degrees, getting married, buying houses, buying cars, building businesses, just because we see other people do it. Many people have children, not so much because they want children, it's because they want an image, they want a look. That's self-sabotage. We got to be real to ourselves. And if you're willing to be real to yourself, you can surrender. You can yield under duress. It is duress when you get up for 20 years and go to a job that you hate. That's self-sabotage. You are under duress, okay? You're surrendering to unhappiness. You are surrendering to not being fulfilled. You're not surrendering to the will of God, because if you were, God would not send you someplace every day that makes you that miserable. But that's self-sabotage. We undermine our goals. And those same people will say, I wish one day I could quit this job. And, I always wanted to start an ice cream stand. I always wanted to own an ice cream parlor, and one day, hopefully, someday, if I ever get enough money, I'll be able to do that. Or, I've been in this relationship for 20 years, and he's abusive, but he's my children's father, and he's my husband, and he's a great provider, but he's abusive, mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically. You're yielding to duress. So when you think about surrender, who wants to surrender to that? I know I don't. But when I talk about surrender, I'm talking about surrendering to God. When he says that he made you, you were fearfully and wonderfully made. That's what he told us in the 139th Psalm. He said when he created us with a specific purpose in mind. That's what was said. You have greatness in you. Just like a seed, you can't tell an acorn that it's not an oak tree. It's just an oak tree in seed form. If you put it in the ground, you don't have to add anything to it for it to sprout up and become that mighty oak tree. That same little puny acorn. What is in you? What is in you that you are sabotaging? What is in you that you are refusing to plant and nurture because you don't believe in yourself? Another reason why we self-sabotage. Low self-esteem. We self-sabotage because of a lack of validation. Let me tell you something. I'm not trying to change your past. I'm not trying to get you to go back into your past and try to make right all of the wrongs. But I am trying to get you to go back and look at the things in your past that have formed a negative mindset, that have made a distorted or skewed outline of your life. And I'm telling you, it's time to erase that. Matter of fact, let's just rip that whole page out and let's draw something new. That's what I'm saying. Why do we self-sabotage? Because we don't learn how to properly deal with the things that we experience in life. And that's one of my focuses with Be Blessed Daily. Exactly. Surrender to the own. Exactly, Heather. See, with Be Blessed Daily, I realize that God has taught me and given me techniques through the years, strategies that I have used to not just overcome my past. Let me tell y'all something. I shouldn't be on Periscope right now. I should be a crackhead someplace, and I don't say that to be disrespectful. I'm being very honest with you. I should be someone that is sprung out on drugs and alcohol. I should be a woman who's an escort or some type of madam or stripper. I should be someone who's probably dead right now because of some of the situations that I put myself in. I was self-sabotaging because I did not love myself. I had abortions because I did not love myself. I connected with friends and people that meant me no good. Thank you, Heather. Because I didn't love myself. We're talking about self-sabotage. Why did I do it? I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel validated. I didn't feel like anything I did was good enough. So then why, if what I do isn't good enough, then maybe if I be like somebody else, that'll be good enough. Maybe if I do the things that other people are doing, then maybe that'll be good enough. And that made it worse. See, I started looking externally for the answer of who I was within when I didn't realize that I had to start within so that you all can see what's coming out. See, I just want you to know that right now we have 2 viewers on this broadcast right now. But I'm talking to millions of people because you all are just like talking to millions of people. There will be people that will listen to the replay. And what I'm telling you all is go all out. How do we remedy that self-sabotage? Go all out. Why are we doing it? For fear of going all out. We are afraid of shame. That's why we self-sabotage. We are afraid of rejection. That's why we self-sabotage. When we look in the mirror, we don't see we see inadequate. We don't see sufficiency. When we look in the mirror, we see things that we don't like seeing. That's why we self-sabotage. When we grow up in certain communities and certain environments, when you are subject to things that you don't even see on TV, that will cause you to self-sabotage. When you grow up in a house where you have to put on and you have to always look good and always dress nice and always speak proper, sit up straight, hold your head up, smile even when you're dying inside, that is called self-sabotaging. Don't get it twisted. It shows up in many different ways. I can't. I'm broke. I can't. I'm ugly. I'm stupid. I didn't finish college. My husband cheated on me. My best friend slept with my boyfriend. My father raped me. Terrible things. And they cause us to self-sabotage. But it's not so much of the action, because everyone that experienced those things, they don't find themselves wrestling with those issues. But it's what we think about ourselves as the outcome of those things. I just want to let you know that you are not what you've been through. You are not what you're going through. But your life is a product of those things. Experience is not always the best teacher if you don't learn the lesson. People like to say experience is the best teacher, but I don't know about you. Many people have taken classes with teachers that they didn't pass. So did experience teach them the right thing? I don't know. You answer that question for yourself. I thank you so much for the hearts. I love the hearts. Remember, this is Heart Talk with your heart coach, Adelaide Brown. We're talking about why do we self-sabotage. We've talked about, unforgiveness from your younger years. A lot of times that's what happened. See, just like when you build a house, I want you to think about this when you think about self-sabotage. When a house is built, you have to put up the framework. Well, first you have to build the foundation. And then upon that foundation, you have to build the framework. See, when people go and look at model homes, they're looking at a finished product. But when that house is being built, you see everything but that. The finished product is the last thing that comes out. And so when we go through things in our foundational years, when the framework is being put up and the framework is bent, is skewed, is distorted, what does that look like? When you're growing up and you're being told you're dumb, you're stupid, you're going to be just like your mama, you're going to be just like your daddy, you ain't going to never amount to nothing, nobody likes you. People used to tease me, you got fake teeth, and my daddy wasn't around, so they'll say, my cousins used to tease me, you don't have a daddy. Kids can be mean sometimes, and a lot of times kids are mean because they learned it from adults. Adults are just hurting children. So when you put up this framework and it's skewed and it's distorted and you build around it, now you have a house that's pretty, but as you sit in that house and really start to look at things, you realize there are a lot of imperfection in this home. Now you put up sheetrock, but the framing is bent. So over the years, this sheetrock is going to start to crumble and crack. And I don't know what's wrong. Something is wrong with this and something is wrong with that. Or I need to repaint. Because see, that's what we do. We like to cover up the surface things. We like to deal with what's on the surface. But the reason why the paint is chipping is because the framework that is up on, it's incorrect. It's bent. It's distorted. So now we have to go back in and do the root work. We have to go back in and work on that framework. Okay? There's no getting around that. I have heard people tell me, oh, you always like to talk about the past and people need to get over it. That's like trying to build a house without a foundation. Or if you're trying to rebuild and your foundation is cracked or your foundation isn't adequate. If you rebuild, this house is going to keep falling on you. That's where I come in. That's what I do. We want to work on that foundation. I'm not trying to tell you to tear down your house, but there's a company called Ramjack. Their advertisement is they will come in and fix your foundation of your home up under your home. And see, spiritually, that's the gift that God has given me. I'm not trying to change anything about you. Exactly. It's a process. And that's what God has given me. I want to jack up those places in that foundation that's leaking and it's crumbling. You know, there is a process and you have to trust the process. See, when we start talking about process, a lot of times people don't want to hear that. Thank you so much for the hearts. Remember, this is Heart Talk. Even if you're listening on the replay, if I'm saying something that's resonating with you, tap that screen for me. Show me some love. Because it's Heart Talk. I'm speaking from the heart and I want to hear from you. But like Heather said, this is a process. To trust the process. A trust is something that you have faith in, you believe in, something that you can depend on. The process is a systematic steps and ways of doing things to get a desired outcome. So that means that you believe in these steps to get that desired outcome. So that means that when you find yourself at a step that you don't like, you can't skip that step because you also understand that if I skip that step, I'm not going to get the desired outcome. We have to trust the process. And when you're talking about self-sabotage, you have a process. You live your life now. It is a way of living. Most of us self-sabotage as a way of living. We say I'm broke and I can't do that before we even consider the thought. Let's plan a cruise. Oh, girl, I don't have no money for that. Why don't you go buy a house? I can't do that. You know how my credit is? I mean, never even stopping to think, is this something that I can do? Is this something that I can really pursue? That's self-sabotage. Why do we do it? A lack of self-worth? A lack of self-esteem? I'm going to go a little deeper for you. We do it because we're not connected to our source. We're not connected to our Creator. When you start to breathe and meditate and pray and read your Bible, like I'm sitting outside, I can hear the wind whispering through the breeze. I feel like that's God whispering in my ears because I feel connected. I get around people. They don't even have to say a word. I don't even have to know them. I'll know the things that they're doing to sabotage in their life many times. I mean, I don't know their personal business, but I know that they are doing things to hinder their own progress. And for a while, I tried to downplay that. You know, for a long time, I would say, who am I to tell these people they need to do right and I need to get my life together? But God said, no, you need to tell them because you are working to get your life together. And in the process of doing that, since you're trusting the process, then you need to trust me, the creator of the whole process, that you can help them along the way. I don't come to you from a place of mastery. I come to you as a master student looking to be an even better student, to rise even higher because I can't be the creator. I am a part of the creation. And when we talk about self-sabotage, the less you sabotage, the more you surrender to your creator and what you were created for. See this beautiful tree that I'm sitting under? This magnolia tree, this tree was created for a purpose, many different purposes. It's giving me shade right now. It's cooler when the breeze blows through. I can tell you of 4 or 5 animals that live. This is their home. This is their environment. This is their habitat. This tree produces oxygen for me and my family. It's in my yard. It has many different purposes. It's not just to stand here. It's not just standing here just because. God created this tree with a purpose. This tree was here probably before this house got built. He is the pot and we're the clay. Exactly. But God knew that I would be here on this day, April the 26th, sitting up under this beautiful tree, doing this heart scope with you guys on Periscope right now. Why? Because I have a purpose along with this tree. And because I'm connected to the source, this tree and I are now connected. And some people say, oh, Addie, that sounds all out there. You trying to be too deep. No, I'm not. Because you're connected with your husband. You're connected with your wife. You're connected with your children. You're connected with your coworkers. That neighbor that you can't stand, you're connected with them too. God put you in that person's life for a reason. They put them in your life for a reason. But are you self-sabotaging right now? Are you undermining your own goals? You don't see how being nice to your neighbor can help you become a millionaire. It has everything to do with you becoming a millionaire. It's all about your character. It's all about your personality. It's all about the way that you want to go about doing things. Where is your integrity? What do you do when no one's looking? Self-sabotaging. We are connected prior to. Exactly. See, what we try to do is we try to disconnect. We do things to disconnect. Exactly, Yolanda. We're already connected. I'm asking you to reconnect. We need each other to survive. Yes. See, what I'm saying right now may not resonate with some people. But it's going to resonate. If it just resonates with one person, I've done my part. Because like I talked about last night on our Heart Talk conference call, in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, it said in verse 7, it was talking about how when you use your gifts, it's to profit us all. See, Adelaide out here with her big pretty afro, with her pretty earrings from Yolanda. I love the hearts. Thank you guys so much for the hearts. Me being out here right now, working and pursuing my dream, I'm gonna be honest with you. Doing heart scopes are nerve-wracking sometimes. I love doing them. Once I get on the camera, I feel comfortable, but I'm nervous because I am giving y'all my heart. I'm sharing with y'all, and as time goes on, I'm gonna go deeper and deeper. A sister been through some things. A sister has done some things, and I'm not ashamed of those things anymore, because if I can share my stories to help people. Like, I know how it feels to be cheated on. I know how it feels to be the cheater. I know how it feels to be lied on. I know how it feels to lie. I know that. And I'm not saying it in a bragging way. I'm saying it because I realized those sabotaging actions that I was taking. Thank you, Heather. And I love doing them. And I hope that you share with everyone so that they can enjoy it too. Because we need each other, like you said, to survive. Yolanda or Heather, one of you said, we have to stay connected. When we're talking about why do we self-sabotage, we need focus and we need order. And when we don't have that, we self-sabotage. As we mature, as we truly mature, the less we sabotage, because the more we're hell-bent on surrendering. It's flowing. It's a gift. Let go. Let God. Some people don't know until they do. Exactly. And see, thank you, Yolanda. Yolanda has helped me so much with that, because there is something in me that is coming out. It wants to come out. It wants to bust out. And this journey of surrender is allowing me to surrender to that greatness that is inside. I'm telling y'all, it's like a knot. It's like I have had children. I have 3 children that I have birthed, okay? And it feels almost like I'm carrying a baby that it wants to come out. But I thought it was a certain way I was supposed to be doing things, I thought I had to talk about things a certain way, look a certain way, act a certain way. That was driving me crazy. It was also causing me to be fake, for lack of a better word. I'm not being authentic when I'm trying to be a certain way. But when I just do, and when I just be, that's when you really get it. That's when I'm in the flow, And that's what we're talking about. Why do we self-sabotage? Because we don't value ourselves. We look around and we see others. Thank you, Heather. We look around and we see others. I used to think I was supposed to pray a certain way. As a mother, I'm supposed to rear my children a certain way. Yeah, another mom may do wonderful things that I admire her for, but guess what? That doesn't mean I'm supposed to do those things. And for a long time, I thought it did. And the way people would talk so harshly about other people, I didn't want them to talk about me like that. So I sabotaged myself. I suppressed my own being wanting to come out, because if I let it come out, I was going to be contrary to what these people were saying was what I should be doing. I started following the crowd and got lost in the crowd. That's what self-sabotage does. That's what self-sabotage does. So I want you guys to think about that in your life. Why do you self-sabotage? Let me give you some examples. Why do you tell yourself you can't afford it all the time? Don't tell me because I don't have the money in the bank. I can promise you, if God gave you the desire for it, He has made a will for you to have it. But have you exhausted all resources? You may have exhausted the resources that you wanted. You may have fixed in your mind, I'm going to ask one person, and if they say no, that's it. But maybe God is telling you to go back and call 99 more. Will you do it? Or will you make excuses why you can't? Or I don't know those people, they may talk about me. Self-sabotaging. What about in a relationship? What if your child brings home a grade, because this is my story. Your child brings home a grade they're proud of that grade. But you look at them and you say, oh, that's good, but you can do better. That's sabotage. That's self-sabotage. You're sabotaging your child and yourself. Why? Because when it's never good enough, you can never have peace. When you can't just accept it the way it is, you can never have peace. And if you can't have peace, you can't have anything else. Nothing else is worthwhile if you can't have it in peace. Why have a marriage if you can't have it in peace? Why have children if you can't be at peace? Yes, Heather, it's pride. We have to let it go. And pride is one of the biggest forms that we self-sabotage. And we self-sabotage through pride because of fear of shame. We self-sabotage through pride because of fear of rejection. Because of fear of, remember that other word, vulnerability. Think about it. Think about it, guys. I'm so serious. So you listening now and you listening on the replay, think about it. Think about it. Yes, thank you so much for the hearts, guys. Remember, it's heart talk. I'm speaking from the heart. You know, I am learning to build up a defense. I'm not sabotaging myself anymore. Well, I'm working on that. It's a work in progress. I say that, and that is my goal. And every time I catch myself doing it or others catch me, I'm open. I'm no longer getting angry at people for saying, why would you say that about yourself? Or, you know you're better than that, or, you know, things like that. Because before I used to get angry with them because I would get frustrated because I'm like, you know, you think I'm better than that, but deep down inside, I don't think I'm better than that. Self-sabotaging. Oh, I don't want to go there. This is one of the biggest things I would do. And we talked about this too. Having false modesty. I don't need that much to get by. All I need is a little bit. You don't have to give me that much. Oh, I don't need you to support me. If you can't make it, that's okay. You know you needed them there. You know you wanted that support. Why did you turn that down? Self-sabotage. You don't feel worthy. So we talked about different things today as we've been on this heart scope. And I hope that this has been helpful for you guys. One of the biggest things I just want us to focus on, why are you doing it? Why are you holding yourself back? Why are you making the excuses? The excuses only satisfy those who make them. So why are you making them? What's the hard part? The rejection? It's okay. Don't take it personal. People aren't rejecting you. They don't know. And even if they are rejecting you, guess who didn't reject you? Your creator. God love you, or saying it but don't really mean it only. Exactly. You saying you believe it, but you don't in your heart. See, that's what God measures. God measures the quality of our hearts. So what about you? Why are you self-sabotaging? Why did you procrastinate? I didn't bring that up. Before we close out, that's one of the biggest things. Procrastination is one of the biggest forms of self-sabotage. Because what you're really saying is, I don't really believe in myself. I don't believe I'm worthy of getting this done or having this. Or I don't believe that this is a good idea. It's the heart. It's the heart that matters. Exactly. So when we procrastinate, we're saying that my idea isn't good enough. Or I don't really believe in this idea, or I don't believe I'm good enough at it. I don't believe I'll be good enough at it. I don't believe I'm worthy of this thing. Because when you believe you can do something and you believe you're worthy of something, you go after it. You pursue it with force and tenacity. That's what you do when you believe you can. But when you don't, you say things like you will tell people, oh, I know I can do it, but I'll do it tomorrow. Why? If you know you can do it, why would you do it tomorrow? Let's do it today. How can you be so arrogant to think that you have tomorrow? You're not even promised 5 minutes from now, much less tomorrow. So when we're thinking about why we self-sabotage, don't be mad at Addie, the heart coach. Don't be mad at me for calling you out, because guess what? I had to swallow this pill as well. Okay? But I want to work with you. If you want to work one-on-one, if you want to work through some of these self-sabotaging habits, that independence that you don't realize is holding you back from truly being interdependent and living your life to your fullest capacity, or that procrastination, or the worry, the doubt, the fear, what about this? Unforgiveness. That's a big part. Why do we self-sabotage? Because we were hurt. Unforgiveness. If you want to work through those things, I want to work with you. Why? Why do I want to work with you? Because I've been through those things. I was at a point where I hated my mother and my father, but I went to church every Sunday. You know, that's a big form of self-sabotage, and I overcame that. Hello? So if I overcame that, I know I can help you overcome the things that you're going through in your life. So get anchored with me and Be Blessed Daily. Check out my website, www.beblesseddaily.com. Remember, I love the hearts. If you come back on the replay, give me the heart. Share with your friends. Tell everyone about these heart scopes. I have Heart Talk, a free group coaching session every Monday night on the conference call. Have ladies calling in from all over the country doing this right here, but we interact, we challenge each other, we share things. So call in every Monday night, 712-775-7031, access code 750-131-418. You can also, if you want to get a feel for what our conference call Heart Talk feels like, what it's like when you do it live, because I also do live Heart Talks where I come into your groups, your girls group, your girls night out, your book clubs, your devotionals, your church ministries, your women's ministries. Thank you so much, Heather. Thank you, because it really is awesome. It really is. I'm not just saying this because it's me. I am amazed that God is using me to do this. I am just the messenger. It's like the mail. The mailman brings you the mail every day. You can't get mad at them for what's put in your mailbox. They're just doing their job. It amazes me how God is using me to do this. Because I never thought I could. You guys don't understand. I was so depressed at 16. I took a bunch of pills because I was like, my life ain't worth nothing. I was that desperate. And I'm here now helping other people turn away from that. I do a Shine Time, a mentoring group for young girls, where we work with these things on them so they don't find themselves sabotaging for 20 years before they even realize what they're doing. We want to stop that now. So if you want to find out more about the one-on-one coaching, my Heart Talk coaching program, the Anchored Living coaching program, if you want to find out more about my Heart Talks live or even the free group coaching session that we do every Monday night on the call, stay connected with me. Follow me at Be Blessed Daily on Facebook, Be_blessed_daily on Instagram. You can find me at Adelaide Brown, my author page, and check out my website, beblesseddaily.com. And last but not least, check out my new book. Can you see it? Anchored. Be Blessed Daily Volume 1. It's a daily devotional, easy read. It's an easy read. It's a simple read, but it's an easy read, but not a simple read. It challenges your thoughts. See, everything that I'm going through, I want to share with you guys because I want you to soar. I want you to break through glass ceilings. There were ceilings in my life that I never thought I could break through. And I've not only broken through those things, I am just breaking through more. The ones that were above that. And I want to help you do the same thing. So get connected with me and Be Blessed Daily. Remember, surrender trumps sabotage every time. But you have to be willing to trust the process. So just a recap, why do we do it? We don't learn why do we self-sabotage? We didn't learn how to properly process hurt and pain in our younger years. We lack validation. We lack self-esteem. We lack self-worth. We've experienced things in our life that told us that we were less than, and it was a lie. It was a bold-faced lie. We were violated physically, mentally, emotionally, neglected. And so we built defense mechanisms that really weren't defense mechanisms. They seem to have protected us, but what they really did was prevented us from being where we truly need to be, in the anchoring light of our purpose and prosperity. So we're going to talk more about self-sabotage tomorrow and more about ways to overcome it. We're going to take the hump day and jump, like I like to say, hump day, jump day, and we're going to jump into surrender because we're overcoming this self-sabotage. So I am your heart coach, Adelaide Brown. This has been Heart Talk on Heart Scope with Be Blessed Daily and Adelaide Brown and Periscope. You all have a wonderful day and you all be blessed.